and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're delving into a topic that is as fascinating as it is disturbing. When we think of serial killers, certain names and faces often come to mind. But history holds a darker, often overlooked chapter. The reign of the world's most notorious female serial killers. Their motives, methods, and sheer ruthlessness are genuinely chilling. So, get ready as we count down the top 10 deadliest women in history. Starting at 10 is Eileen Wuornos, operating in Florida between 1989 and 1990. Wuornos' story is one of desperation and violence. Working as a prostitute, she targeted men she met along the highways. Her life on the fringes of society culminated in the deaths of at least 7 men, all of whom she shot and killed. Wuornos claimed self-defense in each case, painting a grim picture of a life spiraling out of control. Her case gained international notoriety, partly due to her dramatic trial and the complex psychological profile that emerged. Was she a cold-blooded predator or a victim of her circumstances pushed to the brink? The debate continues, but the tragic outcome for her victims remains undeniable. At number 9, we meet a woman who completely shattered the sweet old lady stereotype, Dorothea Punt. From the outside, her Sacramento boarding house in the 1980s seemed like a safe haven for the elderly and infirm. But behind the grandmotherly facade, a sinister operation was underway. Between 1982 and 1988, Punti poisoned at least 9 of her tenants. Her motive? To cash their social security checks. When the number of missing tenants became too suspicious to ignore, police made a gruesome discovery in her backyard, a series of shallow graves. The caring landlady was, in fact, a predator who preyed on the most vulnerable, bearing her secrets just a few feet from her front door. Coming in at number 8 is Judy Buonono, a woman whose nickname tells you everything you need to know. The Black Widow. Operating in the US from 1971 to 1980, Buonono's preferred method was poisoned, and her motive was pure greed. She systematically eliminated those closest to her for insurance money. Her first victim was her husband, followed by her own paralyzed son, whom she pushed into a lake. She even attempted to kill her lover with a car bomb. For years, she got away with it, but her web of deceit eventually unraveled. Investigators connected the dots, revealing a pattern of death and financial gain that led straight back to her. Judy Buonono's cold, calculated actions make her one of the most infamous figures on this list. At number 7, we have Nanny Doss, also known as the Giggling Granny. Don't let the cheerful nickname fool you. Between the 1920s and 1954, Doss left a trail of death across several states, claiming the lives of 11 family members. Her weapon of choice was arsenic-laced food, and she served it with a smile. She poisoned 4 of her husbands, 2 of her children, her sister, her mother, a grandson, and a mother-in-law. When finally caught, she confessed to the killings with a disturbing light, claiming she was just looking for the perfect love. Her cheerful demeanor while recounting these horrific acts is what earned her the name Giggling Granny, a chilling contrast to the dark reality of her crimes. Moving across the pond for our number 6 spot, we find Mary Ann Cotton, a figure from Victorian England whose crimes were truly shocking for her time. From the 1850s until her capture in 1872, Cotton is believed to have killed as many as 21 people, including her own mother, 3 husbands, a lover, a friend, and a dozen of her children. Her method was arsenic, which she would discreetly add to their food and drink, often to collect on insurance policies. In an era with limited forensic science, she was able to explain the deaths away as stomach fevers. It was only when a local official became suspicious of the sheer number of deaths in her family that her murderous spree was finally exposed. At number 5, we traveled to Italy during World War II, to the small town of Correggio, home of Leonarda. Between 1939 and 1940, Cianciulli murdered 3 women. Deeply superstitious, she believed she needed to make human sacrifices to protect her beloved son, who was fighting in the war. But she didn't just kill her victims. In a twisted ritual, she disposed of their bodies in a truly macabre fashion. She turned their remains into soap, and in one instance, even baked their blood into tea cakes, which she then served to unsuspecting guests. Her crimes were a horrifying blend of maternal devotion and brutal superstition. Known as the soap maker of Correggio, her story is one of the most bizarre and gruesome on our list. Now, at number 4, we return to America, to uncover the story of Countess, one of the nation's most prolific female serial killers. From 1884 to 1908, this Norwegian immigrant, who settled on a farm in Indiana, is suspected of killing up to 40 people. Her scheme was as simple as it was evil. She placed Lonely Hearts ads in newspapers, luring lonely, wealthy men to her farm with promises of marriage. Once they arrived with their life savings, they were never seen again. She killed them, took their money, and buried their dismembered bodies on her property. Her reign of terror only ended when her farmhouse mysteriously burned down, though many believe she faked her own death and escaped justice. Breaking into our top 3 is Juana Barraza of Mexico, a woman with a truly unique and terrifying profile. A former professional wrestler known as the Silent Lady, Barraza channeled her aggression outside the ring. Between 1998 and 2006, she terrorized Mexico City's elderly population, earning the moniker La Mata Viejitas, or the Old Lady Killer. Posing as a government official offering pension benefits, she would gain entry into the homes of elderly women. Once inside, she would rob and strangle them, often with a stethoscope. Her final victim count is estimated to be as high as 48, making her one of modern history's most terrifying serial predators. At number 2, we have a case that highlights a dark corner of Victorian England's history: baby farming. Amelia Dyer is perhaps the most infamous baby farmer of all time. Operating in the late 19th century, she would take in infants from desperate, unmarried mothers for a fee, promising to provide them with a safe home. In reality, Dyer had no intention of caring for the children. Instead, she murdered them, often by strangulation, and disposed of their bodies in the River Thames. While the exact number of her victims will never be known, it's estimated that she could be responsible for the deaths of over 400 babies, making her one of the most prolific murderers in history. Her motive was cold, hard profit, built on the suffering of the innocent. And finally, at number 1, we journey back to the turn of the 17th century to the castles of Hungary, to the story of Countess Elizabeth Beth, often called the Blood Countess. Her legend has become intertwined with vampire folklore, but the reality is far more horrifying. Between 1590 and 1610, Bathory is said to have tortured and killed hundreds of young women and girls. The exact number is debated, but some accounts claim as many as 650 victims. According to legend, she believed that bathing in the blood of her virgin victims would preserve her youth and beauty. While some modern historians question the more sensational details, there's no doubt she was a sadistic and cruel noblewoman whose castle became a chamber of horrors. For the sheer scale and depravity of her alleged crimes, Elizabeth Bathory stands as the most notorious female killer of all time. From greed and superstition to a twisted obsession with youth, the motives of these women are as varied as they are horrifying. Their stories serve as a stark reminder that evil can wear any face. Which one of these stories did you find the most chilling? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into the darker side of history. We'll see you in the next one.